What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power. What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power. What you gonna do when they show up?
Hello, this is Matt Bergman, and you are listening to the Punk Rock Libertarians podcast, episode 16. I am here with Alexis Schlegel.
Hey.
What's
going on?
And Charlie Fletcher.
Howdy.
Yeah, so how's everybody been, guys?
Good, man. Good. Had a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, this is my first time seeing Charlie. How long has it been, Charlie? What, like a year or two?
No, I think it was at your birthday. That's the last time I saw you, actually. Or you that or when those bands
No,
played.
but my birthday, that was like, it wasn't my birthday like a month ago birthday. It was my birthday like, it had
Right,
to be
yeah,
over a
yeah,
year
okay,
ago at
okay.
least.
Yeah. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, when bands played, that would have been like a couple years ago then.
Yeah, I think so.
Or maybe was that Alex's birthday party?
Could have been
years
that.
ago.
It was the bands from Wales, the UK.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shit.
Jeez, that was like 4 years ago. No, maybe 3 years ago.
Anyways, it's been
was
a
a
long
while.
time. So Jared Snyderman couldn't make it here tonight, and we found to fill in on short notice, and we got really desperate, so we brought in Charlie Fletcher, and of course he had absolutely nothing going on. So
Of course not.
No, I'm just fucking around. So man, guys, it's been a fucking crazy week. Like Sandra Bland in Texas, it's just so incredibly fucked up. I don't know. What's your reaction to that?
Break it down, Matt. Give us a little backstory for the
Break it
listeners
down.
out there.
Who am I?
Tell
Like
us-
fucking MC Hammer?
Yes.
Okay.
No, tell us a little more.
Okay.
Give a
Here's
little
how
backstory.
it went down in
Charlie's
Hammer
out of the
time.
loop.
Yeah. So Sandra Bland was pulled over by a cop because she failed to signal a lane change.
Oh,
So
what a-
basically, like, and the whole thing is the whole dash cam has been released, right? So you can see the cop pulling over somebody else and then driving on the road and then pulling behind her. And then, like, the cop's, like, driving on her ass. You know when a cop's driving on your ass and you're just, like, getting all nervous and shit?
Yeah,
She just
freaks
figures,
you out.
I'm just going to get the fuck out of the way. So, you know, cops are going to make people nervous, you know? Or say, what if you just don't like them? Just like, and when somebody's on your ass anyways, if there's two lanes, you're going to get the fuck out of the way. So
Naturally.
at any rate, she moved because the cop was there, but I mean, she forgot to signal a lane change, and it's understandable that you wouldn't do that when a cop was there, because I mean, if you're nervous and he's like freaking you out, because I mean, cops make the news every day, killing people, you know, killing innocent people. So you know, I could just see how somebody would do that. So then the cop pulls her over, and I don't know. I mean, she could. She sounded irritated. You know, she sounded annoyed. It's basically, and then the cop's like, "You sound irritated. You sound annoyed." You know?
Which is
And,
exactly what you want to hear when someone's annoying you or irritating you.
Well, exactly. You know, and it's like, who's happy about being pulled over? Anybody?
No, never.
Yeah, so I mean, you might sound irritated or annoyed. Personally, like if I get pulled over, as much as I have this disdain for you know, cops and the organization of policing, you know, I'm going to try to be as like perfect as possible. I'm going to be biting my tongue the entire fucking time though. But, you know, I just want to get out of there. I don't want to start any trouble because I know you can be pulled over, you can be compliant, you can be innocent, and they can give you a very bad day. I mean, they could even fucking kill you. It's fucking ridiculous. The incidents that have been caught on camera, and that this stuff still happens. And, you know, this cop even knows that he has a dash cam in front of him, you know, or behind him, you know. So so the cop is, you know, are you annoyed? She's like, yeah, I'm irritated, you know. And then she's smoking a cigarette. The cop says, could you put out your cigarette? Do you mind? And he said it even like exactly, you know, words like that, like where she even had a choice. And she said, no, I'm not putting out my cigarette. I can smoke in my car. That's not illegal.
Yeah.
And it's not illegal. You can smoke outdoors. You can smoke in your car, you know. And then the cop's like, okay, get out of the car. And then that's when the cop's going to arrest her. You know, is it that grounds to arrest somebody because they won't put out their fucking cigarette?
Not at all.
The whole time that this cop is in a fucking power struggle.
Typical.
You know, And from what I've heard, the video even gets worse from there. But it's like like an hour-long video or something. So like I turned it off right there. It's just like, okay, this cop's already an asshole. It doesn't matter what happens after that. He's telling her to get out of the car. He's arresting her now because she won't put out her fucking cigarette. It doesn't even matter what happens to that. The cop is at fault.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Not even that, but just getting pulled over for failure to signal a lane change. I mean,
okay, fine. It's a traffic law. You know, he could have handed her a ticket and been off on his revenue collecting way. Instead, he's going to stay there and antagonize her and fuck with her.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, like, you know, nobody uses turn signals in Maryland. So, I mean, dear Lord, you know, failure to signal. I mean, if that was a law in Maryland, people would be getting pulled over on a, you know, daily basis.
Dude,
like
it definitely it is a law in Maryland.
Is it? I mean, really? Is it?
Dude, and if you get caught, if a cop sees you, you better believe he's going to pull you over because he's going to want to collect revenue. That's his fucking job. You know, he's got fucking quotas to meet. What do you mean you guess so? He's got quotas to meet.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. That's a fact. They definitely have quotas, but I don't know. Nobody uses turn signals in Maryland. I don't know. That's my observation.
I saw a meme earlier. I think it was a comedian that said it. Maybe it was Dave Chappelle or something. Oh, right. Like he's like, he said something like, you know, a cop will pull you over because you have a
tail light out. Yeah,
a tail light out. But if you're broken down on the side of the road, he's not going to stop.
Right? They don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, how insane is that? And this is a quote public servant.
Well, that brings up another interesting point. I mean, what other public servant can do this to you simply because you're just not cooperating or you're questioning their authority? Not even really questioning it, but just not going along with exactly what they want you to do when they want you to do it. Doesn't happen anywhere else in government. There's no one else that has the authority to do this. So, I mean, I think it's just kind of absurd to begin with.
Yeah, it's totally absurd. And, you know, you think about, like, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I've heard that, you know, you can be too smart to be a cop. Like, they won't let you in if you're too smart, you know? I mean, that just seems like pretty insane. You're going to give, you know, these people that obviously aren't qualified, you know, and they have no skills in like you know, this guy isn't like, you know, calming a situation. This guy is escalating a situation. This guy brought on the situation. You know, he's bringing out the worst in people.
Yeah, definitely. They're confrontational, and their line of questioning is, you know, they're trained to escalate situations and not actually be peace officers. But so what then happened? Ultimately, she was arrested, and then she was actually
supposedly she was in jail for 3 days.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of people that claim, you know, the mugshot was taken after she was dead.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that claim that because it's like if you look at her hair. You know, the way gravity works. Let's talk science, Alexis.
Yes, okay? Let's. Bill Nye.
Right,
I watch a lot of Bill Nye.
You got the documents ready?
I do.
Okay. So,
Alex Jones fax these over.
You know,
I have the documents. Tell us this conspiracy.
You know, the way her hair is laying, you know, it looks like she's laying face down, like she's down on the ground. You know, because otherwise her hair would be laying down, but instead her hair is going back. So that's one argument that, you know, they were taking the photo after she was dead.
Wow, that's fucked up.
Well, I mean,
so she probably was detained for 3 days before.
Right now, it's quote just a conspiracy theory. But I mean, if you look at the picture, you can see that, and you know, wow, it does look like she could be laying down right now. And then the other reason is, you know, it's basically like that police precinct. They always take mugshots, and there's a bunch of mugshots available that they've taken where people still have on their street clothes. And for this mugshot, she's wearing her orange prison attire, like Orange is the New Black or whatever, you know. So, you know, that is also inconsistent with apparently what normally goes on there.
So can I ask you a question? What's the implication then that if the mugshot was taken, I guess, after she was dead, was it that she died in police custody and she didn't actually die the way that they said they did? I mean,
well, yeah, they're claiming that she committed suicide.
Right, she hung herself in her cell, right?
Yeah, and it's something about like the height that she was hung to. It was just very unlikely. And then it's basically, where did she get a trash bag to hang herself? I mean, you know, they don't just leave those out in jail cells, do they?
No, I did.
Maybe if you asked nicely, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I did some hard time in Baltimore Central booking. I did 8 hours.
What for, dude? This is male prostitution.
Yes. I was caught on Baltimore Street soliciting my
Alex's
services.
journey to libertarianism, folks.
Yes. But no, no, I did 8 hours in central booking, and no, after they process you, you sign away. Now it might vary from different counties or townships or different precincts or et cetera. But no, you're pretty much given a like mugshot within the first hour. So that's kind of odd that. And I was in just plain clothes. Now, granted, all three of us were released on our own recognizance.
Plain clothes / hooker attire.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Exactly. So there sounds like there's some shenanigans.
Why don't
foul play?
Why don't they have the video of this? Aren't like all police stations constantly being videotaped? Like that's my understanding. You go into any public video or a place, there's video cameras. So why? I mean, is this just not in the?
They apparently they took. Sorry, I get smoker's cough. So, if you're not choking, ladies and gentlemen, so
Take the trash bag away.
like apparently, I think they took a number of days to release the dash cam footage even, and a lot of people are saying the from what I'm reading online, a lot of people are saying the dash cam footage was edited as well, and then that's the speculation for why it took so long. And there's I mean, if you research it online, like I said, there's a lot of people that think she was dead for the mugshot even. And they like my question, I asked my girlfriend if I'm like, did she ever call her family from jail? Did anybody from her family ever talk to her?
Because you get one phone call, typically.
Yeah, so like apparently she tried to call her family, but nobody answered. At least that's what the cops are saying. Now, I'm wondering if she tried to call her family. This just came into my head. I'm not sure if anybody's done this yet. But, somebody should suggest this to somebody, I guess. Because, I mean, if the cops are saying that she did call her family and she did do her one phone call, I mean, wouldn't there be phone records of that to see if they're lying or not?
There would be phone records.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, and so that, just that would be interesting to see those phone records to see if the cops are lying about that, because I don't know. I think it's doubtful that she made that one call, but I mean, who knows? I don't know. The whole thing is just a sketchy for sure, and I mean, right off the bat, it's just incredibly fucked up that she was ever arrested in the first place. I mean, her initial charge, her initial thing is I think actually the only thing she was being arrested on was, maybe they said she was assaulting a cop or whatever. But, I mean,
Secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
It's really fucked up because, it blew my mind when I learned this. But I'm sure you guys already know. You can get arrested, and your only charge can be resisting arrest.
Yeah. But that's, natural, nobody likes to get arrested, so you're going to naturally resist being.
But what even qualifies as resisting?
Resisting could be.
Well, okay.
Anything.
So say this, right? Say the Sandra Bland. Okay, say the cop tells her to get out of the car. She doesn't get out of the car. Right there. I mean, he could probably get her for resisting arrest if she's not getting out of the car. And then if that's all she did, and then they lock her up, and she doesn't do anything else, she doesn't hit anybody, she doesn't get anything else that they can get her for, you can be arrested just for resisting arrest. And a lot of times, the resisting arrest is the first and only thing that they is the first thing that they get you for, But if your only charge is resisting arrest, you obviously, weren't guilty of anything in the first place.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's just insane.
Yeah, it's a non-violent. It's very arbitrary. They could just make anything up, like, oh, you're resisting, or not complying, or.
What do you think? Do you think people start off joining the police force with this kind of mentality that, listen, I'm in charge now, I'm the boss, I have this authority, you better cooperate, you better be on your best behavior, call me sir, damn it, do you think that this is something that just kind of the monotonous day in, day out of it, you kind of get this disdain for the public?
I think when people go into it, different people go into it for different reasons. A lot of people might go into it, thinking that, they're going to be a cop, they're going to be a hero, I mean, seriously, a lot of people could go into it for that. You could also have a lot of people going into it who, were jocks in high school, and then, they got injured in college. So they dropped out and were drinking a lot and became a cop. And now that they're just picking on people just like they did in high school. You get a lot of bullies becoming cops. Because I know I've had interactions with cops where it's like, yeah, this dude's a bully. This dude's just a flat out dick. And and he's going to be a dick to you. And it's almost like he's daring you. Go ahead, do something. I'll arrest you. I'll make your life a living hell. I might even shoot you because I've got a gun on my hip. I can say whatever the fuck I want. I can be a fucking asshole. There's people like that. I've got to say that I've also known a few good cops. I wouldn't place into that category. But, you've also read about, like, police corruption, where, like, the majority of the precinct, from the high-ups are doing fucked up shit. And, it's going to be very hard to be a good cop and call them out on it and still have a job, or, they could even go after you.
Passed over for promotion, stuck on terrible duty, and yeah.
Yeah, like you've seen Serpico. This is based off of a true story.
Oh,
right?
have I?
Yeah, so, So.
Would it?
Yeah. Okay. Serpico.
Yeah. What about So one of my questions is too, and this kind of goes into how the right tends to portray police, and by the right I mean like your Sean Hannity's, your Fox News media machine, the talk radio people. All this is that there seems to be an excuse making process for them, which is essentially like, listen, these people have to deal with shit day in and day out. They go out there and put their lives on the line. Most cops are good. It's really like what we were talking about earlier is excusing the behavior. And it's basically saying because these people have a shitty job, that essentially gives them an excuse to be dicks all the time. Like I can't understand that mentality.
Yeah, copologist.
Copologist.
So, yeah, it's insane. People just like, I don't know, like orally fillet the police.
Well, I think it's gotten worse since 9/11 and all that too. I think the idea of the police kind of being this like police lavish worship, or I don't know what you would really call it, but it's kind of attached itself to the same kind of prestige and like entitlement that the military has gotten since 9/11 too.
False patriotism.
Military's, I think has always gotten some though. Like
you think so?
Prior to 9/11, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
And when you think about it, like police had always gotten some too. Because when do you think? You don't think police were abusing people in the 50s?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It's basically, dude. If you read about like fucking like L.A. in the 60s, and black neighborhoods, you can hear like older black guys talking about that who were there, and they're just the cops are always fucking with them. And I don't doubt that it was happening in other places as well, like white areas. It's I think we're actually starting to like see it, and it's being proven now that everybody has a camera on their phone. I think that's the only difference.
So how do you break through to these people that they buy into the whole storyline from Fox News and places like that, where they basically say, you know what, like, yeah, some bad stuff happens, but for the most part everything's fine. There's not the big of a deal. This is almost never happens. How do you break through to those people and essentially, because like you said, this has been going on. If they've been getting praised throughout time, then it's just generation after generation. It just keeps going.
I think we are breaking through, and I think it's called the fucking internet. If you look at Cop Block,
right,
they've got like over 1.5 million people on there. That's a lot of fucking people. That's fucking Cop Block. Right. And those guys, like. Those guys just like flat out like despise police officers, and I think they have good reason for it too, and you look at like pages like Police the Police has like 500,000 people on there. People are waking up, but yeah, it's going to be tough for some people, and I'm sure it's tough for a lot of the people who have already woken up, but people are waking up, and I think it has to do with like you're shattering their perception of reality, yeah. And it's like when that happens, people are gonna be like, no, it's like taking the one pill and going and leaving the Matrix, most people it's what they think they know, and it's what they understand, and it's like no, they're just like flat out denying it.
But most people on the right that are hardcore Fox News watchers, they're in that demographic, probably like 50s and upwards. So it's hard for like someone like in that age demographic to realize like my whole life I've been lied to, and they can't wrap their head around this, that they've been so they'd rather just go along and just stick their head in the sand and just go along and worship the Fox News and just disregard what really is going on and not going to do the research or going online or seeing what reality is.
I mean, when you talk to people too who kind of have this mentality and stuff like that, a lot of them, their first reaction is, what did this person do that was wrong? What did they do to make the cop do this? You know what I mean? It's never the other way around. It's always like, oh, well, they probably had it coming. They shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Right? It's almost like a I don't know, like bootlicking fetish type, like, I don't know what you would call it, but
it is scary, yeah, because that mentality is just like, really? Like, they're just blaming the victim all the time.
Yeah, it's like, the dude from CNN, he was like an ex-cop, and, he said that Sandra Bland was pulled over, or he basically said that she died because she was arrogant, and it's just, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, and he's saying, well, the officer's not doing anything wrong there. It's like, really? How is he not doing anything wrong there? Like, he just asked her to leave the car for not putting out a cigarette.
Right.
And he's like, well, he might have been allergic. It's just like, he's just making up, he's just pulling excuses out of his, like, fucking asshole, on live television. It's like anything but blame the cop who's obviously at fault. Why not just write this lady a ticket and let her go? The cop, it just makes me so fucking mad. So mad. And it blows my mind every time it happens, because it happens like every fucking day. There's a new video of somebody getting fucked up by police who didn't deserve to get fucked up. There's a video of a cop making a situation worse, and a lot of times it ending in somebody's death.
Yeah. Did you see that video of the cop in Philadelphia? That was it just happened, I think, or just surfaced this past week.
I know what you're talking about, where the guy was riding his bike home and he was beaten up by about 15 cops. Is that?
No, but that's, jeez.
The fact that there's so many of these to talk about probably says something.
Yeah, it's like what video?
It's like,
hey, they come out every fucking day.
Right? Seriously. So there obviously is a problem, but no, but hey, keep watching Fox News, and all cops are good, and what. Obviously these, they must have been up to something for the cop to do this, because they can do no wrong.
Well, I don't think it's just Fox News, and it's basically now we'll talk about Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So who wants to begin on this one? Because I think Charlie was saying that he has an interesting take on this one. That he thinks he's going to differ from everybody else.
Yeah. Okay. So going back, this kind of all stemmed from, it was brought into light a while back, but it really came back in when Martin O'Malley, someone who I don't care for at all, actually, because he made my life a living hell as a poor person in Maryland.
I don't either. I don't think anybody here likes Martin O'Malley.
Okay. So he went to a Netroots conference in Phoenix, Arizona, and there were some activists there that were yelling Black Lives Matter, all this. And he basically went to the crowd and he goes, yes, Black Lives Matter. White lives matter, all lives matter, and he was expecting this like thunderous applause, like, oh man, this guy knows what he's talking about, and everyone's just looking at him like crickets, like, oh, this guy's an asshole, which he is, but not for this point.
That.
But not for saying that.
So here's my point about this: is that yes, all lives matter, and I think everyone knows that, even people in the Black Lives Matter movement. But what you're doing by basically responding to someone saying Black Lives Matter with the line like all lives matter. It's not really that it's wrong. It just comes off as kind of inconsiderate, because you essentially have a group of people who've been, specifically targeted based on race. And there's a long history of this in the United States. And to say that simply all lives matter, it comes off as being kind of like, I don't know what you would say exactly, but you get what I'm saying?
Okay, well, I don't like to quote Christopher Cantwell too much, but okay, he made a good point. Okay,
right.
If Sandra Bland was black, do you think no, I'm sorry. Okay, I got it all wrong. Okay, if Sandra Bland was a white male, do you think you would have heard about it?
Oof.
Okay, exactly.
It's hard to say. This was Texas, right?
Hey, it's hard to say. Oh, Alex, can you pass this guy some Vagisil?
Yeah. No, it's definitely. I think the whole Black Lives Matter is basically came out of Reverend what's his face who's on MSNBC. Al Sharpton. Yeah, Sharpton. And it's just typical like collectivism to divide and conquer. And not really get... Now, granted, what Martin O'Malley said was true, but ultimately, he would never get to the reason why all of this is going on.
Doesn't that make you cringe saying that?
Oh.
What Martin O'Malley said was true?
I know, it does. It's like, oh, God, anyways, go ahead, Charlie.
I take the opposite standpoint. I actually agree with Al Sharpton on this, which is not something you hear me say very often. But I have no problem agreeing with people, even if I don't agree with them ideologically on occasion.
No, of course. And the
broken
times when
clock's
people
right twice a day, right?
The times when people who if you agree with each other, whether if you're like a libertarian, you agree with somebody on the right or you agree with somebody on the left, work together with them in the areas where you do agree to make things better.
Right. I can kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, you should work together with people that you agree with on certain issues.
Yeah.
Why not?
But the thing that what I go back to again is that by responding to the idea that Black Lives Matter with all lives matter, it's like that's besides the fucking point. Everyone knows all lives matter. The point is that you have a group of people who are historically picked out specifically because
everyone
of their race.
knows all lives matter, why do you have to say Black Lives Matter? Because all lives matter.
Because historically they've been singled out. There's a whole long history of that in America doing that. I mean, you can't deny that. So
I mean, like if Sandra Bland was a white male, would you have heard about it? And if it happens so much less to white males, why wouldn't you have heard about it?
Okay.
I mean, because it wouldn't that be a bigger story?
Let me digress a little
Why
bit.
Why is it not a story? Why would it not be a story?
I can't. That's too hypothetical, man. I can't.
No,
I can't answer that.
I can answer it.
Let's go back to Ferguson, though. All right, where this all kind of hit national prominence or national kind of hit the news or whatever. You had a police department that was
No, I mean it hit the news before that with Eric Garner.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I mean,
Ferguson,
people.
What happened first?
Always been shit, dude.
Yeah.
But so my point is that you had a police department that was openly known to be racist. They were implementing racist policies. I mean, they even talked about it in their emails. That all came out. So you have a group of people who have been essentially targeted throughout America's history. So I'm just saying that, yes, all lives matter. And I think that even people on the Black Lives Matter movement would agree with that. They would agree with the idea that, yes, all lives matter. No one should be killed by police. I think that's an idea almost everyone could get their head around, unless they're fucking just stupid. But
I guess what I'm
I understand that. I understand
it's inconsiderate.
Most of the people in Black Lives Matter, I'd say most, if not all, believe that all lives should matter. I don't believe that they're saying cops should kill white people and that's cool.
But no,
or cops should kill Mexicans and that's cool.
Right.
Or I don't think they're saying cops should fuck with anybody. But here's the problem. Black Lives Matter is an exclusive slogan that does turn people off. And I've talked to people this week who are turned off at that slogan. People who are, just talk about like, okay, I've seen this shit happen to white people. I've seen cops be a dick to me. I'm scared of cops too.
Right, but would you agree that there's a problem in America that the legislation
I agree.
for things
I think
like
we
the
have
drug
a police
war?
state problem.
Right,
Dude.
right,
I'm scared of fucking cops.
Right. But would you say historically it is accurate that the police have been used as a tool specifically against minority communities?
Dude, it's true. There's definitely institutionalized racism and all that, but it's like Martin O'Malley thought he had this moment, but he wouldn't be able to go down the road to discuss the drug war, like repealing the drug laws, repealing
I think if you take a Black Lives Matter approach to this, I think one possible outcome is okay, cops driving down the road. Better not fuck with this driver because he's black, but I'm gonna fuck with this driver because he's white because it's not gonna make the news. Nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean?
Right. But
dude, that could be a possible outcome of it. You got to come at it against the police state. And this is no doubt an exclusive slogan that turns some people off. If you want to get more people behind your idea, why not call for all people to be behind your idea? Have an inclusive slogan that includes everybody, And besides, after Black Lives Matter and the cops stopped going after black guys because they're scared of getting on the news and they're scared of they're scared of making the news, After that, who are we going to go after then? Are we going to just talk about Mexican Lives Matter? Where are we going to go after that? Why not we just do it all at once? This is like the argument for libertarianism. Everybody has the same rights. We're all equal. All are individuals. Individuals have the same rights under the law. No special privileges for different groups.
Right, and I agree with you. And I don't. Once again, I think we're talking about the same thing, just differently. What I'm saying is I don't look at Black Lives Matter as being an exclusive slogan. They're singling out one group of people that historically have weathered the brunt of things, and they're pointing that out. Now,
and I understand that, and I agree
right.
with you there.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand that other people do look at it as it is exclusive.
If it turns them off,
it does turn people off.
They don't understand it. That would be my argument. I don't think they get it. I think they're just saying that like, oh, well, you're saying only Black Lives Matter. That's not what it's really about. It's about using this one thing that has historically been the norm in policing, the target of a lot of bad legislation in America and a lot of bad policing efforts and stuff like that. And it's saying, yes, this is fucked up, and moving on from there. But it's not simply saying only Black Lives Matter, and we don't have a problem with the police state. I think it recognizes all of that, but it's bringing up this one part of it.
Dude, we have a police state, we have a prison state. We do have cops that are racially profiling, no doubt. I'm from Baltimore. There's the Baltimore cop that was on Rogan a couple weeks ago. He's been talking about that. They single the black guys out. I understand all that, but then there's going to be people that it's just going to throw off, like say if you don't live in a black area, but you've seen your white buddies get fucked with by the cops.
Right. But there's no reason why you still can't get behind the Black Lives Matter movement, because even if you don't have black people in your community, you should still be offended by the fact that
it's just not the best way to go about it, dude. It's exclusive. It just throws people off.
I mean, I could see how people are being thrown off.
While we're arguing about this whole argument is a fucking waste of time. It's a fucking waste of time, because while we're arguing with each other, we shouldn't be arguing with each other. We should be giving the police its shit. We should be giving the police state shit. We should be giving the government shit. But we're fighting amongst ourselves. The conversation's divisive. Black Lives Matter excludes people. And then to get butthurt when somebody says all lives matter, it's you're arguing with each other when and then the cops are over there laughing at you. They're fucking laughing at you. They're laughing at me. It's just a waste of time to argue.
It has turned into a bit of a circus show.
I'm getting so impatient with this argument. It's every time I talk about it, it's like I'll talk about it for a few minutes and it's like whatever. This is fucking dumb. It's like we're talking about this when we should be talking about the police state.
Right. And I think that's what the conversation's about. And I think you have to start somewhere. And so why not start there? And I think the idea that it's exclusive and stuff like that.
I think if you want to have better results and if you want to be inclusive and include more people, if you have more people going at this, you will have more success. You will have quicker success.
I don't know. I agree with you, but at the same time, I'm simply defending the Black Lives Matter movement. I don't see it as exclusive. I think white people could get behind it. Anyone could get behind it. I think if someone doesn't want to get behind it, then they're only limiting themselves.
That was a fiery debate on hashtags. So,
hashtag Charles rules.
Hashtag. I don't get the whole hashtagging thing.
Yeah, I get very annoyed when I see hashtags. Actually,
yeah. I get annoyed when I'm seeing them on Facebook because it's like hashtags don't do anything on Facebook.
Right. And it's like
take that shit back to Twitter.
And then some of these hashtags is like, who the fuck searches for that hashtag? I don't even know, but I don't get it. But
have you noticed there's a lot of pictures of lions and shit like that on Facebook? Maybe that says something more about my friends, but like protect your pride, like. I don't know. No? Okay.
No, I haven't seen that, dude.
I probably just have a lot of weird friends on Facebook.
I think so. So, speaking of circuses, how about this current GOP field, Charlie? What do you think?
Well, let me just say, I feel like Donald Trump is really someone I could get behind.
Really?
Well, like in a jail cell?
No, man, the hair would bother me too much, man. That's kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, we're just referring to that latest video, that Julie Borowski video, and it's just like, it just seems like the GOP field is just, oh my gosh, it's just an embarrassment. Just anything I see or read or the videos or just, I mean, it's just insane. I think I just heard Chris Christie was saying that marijuana smokers are diseased, or he said something.
No, like to me, it's like the scariest thing about Trump. I mean, it's also the most entertaining thing about Trump. I mean, he says things, he does kind of, I don't know. I think he says things that like a lot of people like are thinking, and it's not that good people are thinking really.
Right. That's
it's basically like he appeals to a lot of racists, and I don't know. I mean, he appeals to other people too. Other sects of conservatism who I don't know. I think he mostly appeals to racists, but I don't know. It's basically like Donald Trump. He's like such like a animated cartoon character. It's just like, wow, is this guy for real? And the scary thing about this is, I've always like discarded him, and it's like, his thing's a joke, blah blah blah. But I mean, he's picking up steam.
He's #1 in the polls nationally.
And I never thought, I said this earlier before the podcast. I never thought George Bush would be elected in 2000. And just because the dude sounded like such a fucking dumbass. It's like, wow, really? This is just crazy. It's like, really, out of everybody in this country, there's no way people are going to vote for this dude. And I mean, he just sounded like incompetent as fuck, backwoods as fuck, just really fucking stupid. And then he got elected.
I'm glad we never cease to amaze you, Matt.
And in 2008, I never thought that Barack Obama would have been elected, and mostly because he was black, and I didn't think America was going to choose a black president. I didn't think that we were to that point. And I will say that the only cool thing about Barack Obama getting elected was that he was black, or was that he is black. That's the only cool thing to me. Well, actually, no, not the only cool thing. I could say that until recently. I think the other cool thing, and probably the coolest thing that any president's done in my lifetime, is Barack Obama releasing 46 nonviolent drug offenders. And I think with this, it's more people are going to follow, because there's more people on the right and the left that are waking up to they're waking up to the prison industrial complex. They're waking up to the cops. They're waking up to the drug war. They're waking up to the fact that over half the people that are in prison are in there for nonviolent drug crimes. 1 in 6 people are in there for marijuana. And they're starting to see that this is a waste of money. That's really fucked up. We're robbing people of their lives for peacefully possessing a substance. In some cases, a plant, vegetation.
So speaking of that, what about that?
So I mean, that is the coolest thing that any president's done, correct? I mean, who's done anything cooler in your lifetime?
I mean,
seriously, dude. I mean, the drug war is a big fucking deal. It's been going on for like 40 years, and I feel like he's cracking open the can. I mean, and it's just a dent, It's just a dent, mind you. 46 people is nothing compared to the amount of people that are in prison for these substances. And it pisses me off that it took him like 7 years to do this, But at the same time, it's like, it's something, and it's something that's really fucking cool.
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely a move in the right direction.
Yeah, and it makes me really angry to think that he didn't do anything about it sooner. And, it's basically the people who probably deserves the biggest pat on the back are the American people. Because, I mean, I know, like, just speaking to people, I've been talking to people about politics for a long time. And it's like, I know just from talking to people, like, every day for, like, in the past few years, just more and more people that I'm meeting are, I bring up the drug war, and they're right there with me on it. They've woken up. And it's like politicians will only do what they can get away with. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, politicians are a reflection of the people. So, it's like, because they'll only do what we let them get away with. So the more people that are waking up, eventually, these fuckers are going to have to change.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They sometimes mostly put up their... see whatever the way the wind is blowing. So yeah, if that's the direction the country's going in, they'll start jumping on board.
Bringing it back full circle, what could you see Donald Trump doing to blow your mind? That he hasn't already. Sorry, I should preface that.
I mean, I don't know. Say some more racist shit. It's basically, it's entertaining because I think a lot of libertarians. Don't really believe in the system. We've kind of given up on it in a lot of ways. There's
very
a lot of us don't even vote.
Yeah.
A lot of us are principled non-voters. We just don't think it matters. And then, it's comical to see somebody like Donald Trump come in out of fucking left field, or I guess far right field, or I don't know. I mean,
who knows?
I mean, he's given money
Outer
to
space.
like Hillary Clinton in the past. Who knows where he really is, and I mean, it's just like it really exposes the system for I don't know, just like the crazy sham that it really is.
I could see that. I mean,
He's a train wreck. I can't wait to see happen.
It's just gonna get ugly.
Well, it's funny too. Did you guys hear about? It's basically Donald Trump's pissed at the GOP because he doesn't like the way that they've been treating him.
Oh yeah.
So he's threatened to run third party.
Oh, this guy.
Dude,
for who? The Libertarians? The Green
gosh.
Party?
No. I mean, he could just do it himself, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Libertarians aren't going to pick him.
The Trump Party.
That could be a good thing, though. I mean, think about it.
Well, I mean,
Then you have,
it'll be a good thing if you want to see the Republicans lose. Whereas, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to see the Republicans win, but I don't want to see the Democrats win either. So, I don't know. It's I don't know. It'll make things interesting. That's for sure. You know, if he runs. But yeah, he'll definitely, if he does run, and if he can even garner a fraction of percent of the vote, he's a guaranteed loss for the GOP.
Picture this. Okay, so Gary Johnson has a pending lawsuit, and I doubt it'll ever be settled before the 2016 presidential election. But basically, it's to allow third parties in the debates, changing the debate rules. But imagine if Trump would go independent and with all his, so imagine if he's excluded from the debates and he raises a shitstorm, right? And then opens the floodgates for third parties in presidential debates. What if that could possibly happen? And then think about this. So then you'd have all these, you'd have like Gary Johnson on stage with Hillary Clinton, Jeb Bush, Donald Trump. You'd have a Green Party candidate, maybe Vernon Supreme up there. And imagine how
Vermin,
amazing this would be.
Vernon.
Or Vernon. I mean, you'd have, who else?
Fucking Ernest.
Who else would you have? The rent's too damn high. You'd have that guy show up, and things could get interesting.
Yeah, totally. And then what would make it more interesting is if you had runoff voting or like ranked choice voting.
Yeah,
you guys
definitely.
know about that? Yeah.
Is that like how they do things in France, where they talk the top candidates, the top tier after the first round of voting?
Yeah, it eliminates the fear to vote for a third or fourth or 100th party candidate. Because
I think that would be fantastic.
It's basically like this: like if you get to pick your favorite choice. So say there's a lot of people that vote, that vote Democrat, but they really like Libertarian, or vote Republican, but they really like Libertarian because they think that Libertarians are never going to win, so I'm just going to vote for one of these major two parties, whoever I think is the least evil out of those two, because otherwise my vote's not going to count. And a lot of people think like that. So, if you switch it to ranked choice voting or like runoff voting, it'll work like this. Like you pick your number one candidate, and it could be a Libertarian, but if that candidate doesn't win, your vote automatically goes to your number two candidate.
Oh, that's a little bit different than what I was thinking, but yeah, that's
and then so forth and so forth and so forth. Huh. So it's basically like you're not wasting a vote, and you can vote for other options.
I really like that idea.
Yeah, totally, dude. And imagine if we could do the debates, and then we could go to that. Maybe this would open the conversation to that.
Yeah, there should be a law.
Yeah, a law not to exclude political candidates. That's not a bad law.
I could get behind that.
Yeah. In a jail cell.
With Donald Trump.
Right.
Would Donald Trump be videotaping?
No, he'd probably have a film crew. He's a pretty professional dude.
Nice.
Yeah. So, what else could we talk about here, Matt? How about
I don't know, you have the list in your hand.
Oh, I have the documents. That's right.
I like how he's just doing this off the cuff. Like I'm totally just thinking off
Here's
off
Alex.
the top of my head.
Going jizzed all over the documents.
Oh no, I can't read it. It's all
These documents are sticky.
They're all sticky. All right. So, how about this recent interview on the Tom Woods show? How this gentleman came about libertarianism through Noam Chomsky.
Yeah, I was listening to Tom Woods this week, and I usually post the Tom Woods podcast on PRL every day. And so I definitely recommend you guys checking it out. I don't always post it on the Facebook page, but it does go up on the website. And it just because I think Tom Woods is pretty awesome. He's done some. He does good stuff. And so he had on a dude. Okay, so here at the Punk Rock Libertarians podcast, we have experienced somewhat of a technical difficulty. So right now it's Monday, and then we recorded the podcast on Sunday, and somehow the last half hour of the podcast is now missing. I'm not sure if maybe my computer had a malfunction or something, and we didn't pick up on it at the time. So the last half hour of the podcast is missing. It's a shame because it was entertaining, honestly. It was a half an hour of our best stuff and ever, and now it is lost. And I'm sure our tens of listeners will be disappointed. But I can wrap up on what we were talking about. So this is going to be weird to do this by myself, but here goes. So on the Tom Woods podcast this week, Tom had on Gene Epstein, and Gene Epstein, he's like a notable libertarian dude, I guess you would say. And what's interesting that Gene said was that Noam Chomsky led him to libertarianism. And when I told Alex and Charlie about this, both of them were kind of shocked, just as a lot of libertarians would be when you hear somebody say that Noam Chomsky led somebody to libertarianism. You're like, oh, what the fuck? A lot of people think of Noam Chomsky as a socialist. But, when I was listening to this podcast, I was thinking, wow, that's pretty cool, because Noam Chomsky actually had a hand in leading me to libertarianism. And so, this discussion is part of what was cut off. But it's my thing with Chomsky. When I was like 16, I read Chomsky for Beginners. And Chomsky's, what I agreed with Chomsky on was his assessment of the problem. He was talking about how, basically the political parties are all bought out by the same, corporations, money interest, and, the same people that own the politicians also own the media, those same corporations. So how can you expect the media to report honestly on the politicians when, they're both owned by the same money powers? So right away when I read that, Chomsky's assessment, I was like, yeah, I mean, it just kind of like, a switch went off in my head, and I stopped believing in, the two-party system. And it's basically, I agreed with Chomsky's assessment. I don't agree with Chomsky's solutions, which are all too often like state socialism. But, and I don't really get how Chomsky takes his assessment to his solution, because it's like, he's going to say, like, government's corrupt, but, we need to give them more power and control over everything. That's what I don't get. So at any rate, this is the end of Punk Rock Libertarians podcast, episode 16. We will have a bonus podcast this week. I actually did a Google Hangout interview with Denmark punk rock libertarian author and adult film producer H. Roland, and it's pretty awesome. We're probably going to release this on Wednesday or Thursday, and this will be a little different as it's just me and it's just Roland. It gets pretty hot and steamy, and it's a video podcast, so this will also have video on YouTube if you want to check that out, if that's your kind of thing. So until next time, live free.
What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power. What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader?